Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome. This is Barbara J. Beckley, and you're at the Coaches Lounge. Yes, yes, yes. This is where I spotlight, and I love doing this. This is like one of my passions is spotlighting coaches, educators, and mentors because they don't get the love I feel like they need. They work with people, they help them get to the next level in their lives. They're there, when they have to encourage them, they have to give them tips. I mean, the whole thing behind the scenes, right? So they really don't get a chance to get the love to say, you know what, you're doing a wonderful job with this person. You have helped this person reach their goal. You have helped this person build an empire. You have helped this person know that they are loved in the world. There's a lot of different coaches that work in those capacities, but they don't get the love themselves sometimes. So I said, you know what? I think I want to build a show to do that for coaches. And that's what I have done here. So every week I come on and I make sure I bring the queens and kings, because some people feel like I don't bring enough kings, and I will bring them. As you know, I call women and men kings and queens because I look at them as royalty. I look at them as special. I always want to remind them that, because some days we have those where you don't feel like a queen or you don't feel like a king, and you're like, no, you got the crown. We just got to just straighten it up a little bit. So with that, we have amazing, tremendous. She's a celebrity. Yes, she is. She's probably like, wow, Barbara. Yes, she's a celebrity to me, and you're going to she's a celebrity to everybody else after you get done listening to her, because this woman, I'm telling you, her business is not only just her business, what she does, but it's a mission and it's her heart, because she lived it and she thrived through it. That's amazing. And I just want to just go through. She's the Limitless mindset coach, helps women that are experiencing hair loss navigate the journey from ensuring that you have the correct diagnosis to decide how you would like to move forward, present yourself in the world with confidence. And believe me, this lady has confidence. I think if you look in the dictionary and look for the word confidence, you will see her smiling face picture on there, because she has plenty of confidence. She helps, and from being insecure and feeling down about yourself, to hold your head up high and confidently going through the world as a woman with hair loss. Oh my God, Kellie Rhymes, I'm telling you, she is amazing. And you're about to meet her. I'm going to be quiet and we'll be right back. I like saying that. So, queen. You are a celebrity, lady. You are a lady.
Well, thank you. That's the first time I've been called a celebrity, so I'll take it.
You know what? See, that I always tell people, words are powerful. We're gonna put it out there, and it's gonna come back to you 10 times more, 10 times plus. So yes, you are a celebrity. And you're a celebrity in a lot of people's eyes, especially women that deals with what I just mentioned about hair loss. So with that, first of all, it's an honor, it's a pleasure to have you on the Coaches Lounge. I want to say that before we get to our conversation, because you taking the time to come on and talk, do your mission, your movement, everything. So thank you.
And thank you for having me.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, now we got to get Vogue in here, right? Now we got to get you take some pictures here. But with that said, lady, like I said, I just want to kind of dive in here because I want enough time allowed so you can talk about, where you started at, why this movement is so important to you, because I know it's very personal
Mhm.
too. And then also, just let people know, like when they come to you, how, you kind of work with them. So first, let's pull the curtain a little bit. Tell us, lady, how this whole journey happened for you.
Well, as far as the whole journey, it was a long journey. So let me start from the point to where I started noticing my hair loss. I was actually in my late 20s, early 30s when I noticed that I had a small bald spot at the top of my head. And I just kind of just like, you know what, I'll just watch it. I'll try to use some, natural oils and some natural remedies and try to figure it out, because maybe it's just I'm pulling my hair too tight, or I'm doing too much, or too much stress or something like that. So I thought I could figure it out on my own. But after time, it kept getting larger and larger and larger. And I was still really in denial that something major was happening. It took me a while before I went to the dermatologist, but by the time I went to a dermatologist, he pretty much looked at me and said, "Oh, I've seen this a lot of times. You have scarring alopecia, and there's not really much you could do about it." He really did not offer any kind of medications or any further testing, or he really didn't leave me with anything besides that information. So when I left the doctor's office, I just was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to wear wigs or weaves for the rest of my life, because I have to cover this up. Now, I'm at the stage where I know that there have been more developments, and we had the advances in medication and technology that we have today. If I would have had it back then, I would have been able to save some of my hair, a lot of my hair, but neither here nor there, because it is what it is. I basically went on to continue to wear wigs and weaves and hiding and head wraps and all kinds of things to cover up my hair loss. On the inside, I was extremely insecure, but I did not let that show on the outside. I always wore my mask. I always had that smile on my face, trying to make it, seem like everything was okay. But realistically, it was not okay on the inside. That continued on for years until I got to the point to where I got tired. I was tired of trying to hide it. I was tired of the wigs. It was hot because I was living in Arizona at the time. I was tired of feeling like people were looking at me every time I went outside. Like, can they see my hair, or can they tell this is a wig, or does this wig look right? Just all of the things that run through your mind when you are wearing something that's artificial and you're not really fully being yourself to people. So after some time, I'm like, it's time for me to just be who I am. I need to just embrace this. I realize my hair is not going to come back. So what am I going to do? Now, there was one point in my journey where I cut my hair off, and I had to cut it off bald, but I was not prepared. It was an emergency situation. I got a hairstyle that pretty much took out a lot of my hair, and I had to shave it off. So I did my hair bald, or head bald, I should say, for maybe a couple months, but that insecure part of me would not allow me to go any further. So then I just covered it back up with a wig, and I wore a wig for an entire year. I never left the house for a year without a wig. So as I said, fast forward, I came to the point to where I was ready to embrace this. I'm like, this is what it is. I'm going to cut my hair off, but what do I do to feel more confident when I cut my hair off? So I had to take myself through an entire process, which is some of the things I do with the people I coach, as far as rebuilding myself up, regaining my confidence. I actually cut my hair like really, really short and wore hair fibers just to kind of get comfortable with that kind of a short look. I started doing research to figure out, well, what can I do if I cut my hair off to make me feel okay, make me feel confident? And that's when I found micropigmentation. So for anyone who doesn't know what micropigmentation is, basically think of it as it's a tattoo where they tattoo little dots throughout your scalp, or like in certain parts of your scalp, to make it appear to look like hair follicles. So I'll use in right now on the screen this dark area and all of my head. That is all micropigmentation because I had my entire head done. So I made the decision to shave it off and get the micropigmentation. And not really wear the wigs too often. After I got the micropigmentation, I probably wore a wig a handful of times, not often. So I went
Mhm.
from wearing a wig every single day, basically, to
Mhm.
barely wearing a wig to not wearing one at all for the last several years. So that has been my journey as far as my own health, hair loss, and that is
Mhm.
what has led me to now help support other women who are
Mhm.
experiencing and facing hair loss.
Yeah, see, that's why I call you celebrity. That's why, the confident, you're in the dictionary with your face in there under confidence, because for you to deal with that, like you said, and thank you for taking us through the journey, Queen, because that's what I like to hear. Because I always tell people, you see us, like you see you as this wonderful, awesome person that's helping other ladies and to get through. But we weren't always like that. We went through that downward spiral to a certain extent to get to where we're at. And
Right.
that's why I love to hear the stories, because it just, to me, and this is what I always say, Queen, it always gives us, it's stepping stones of strength. So when we take those steps, I feel like it's making us stronger and stronger every time we take a step. When we know that we have to get through something, or we know that we're dealing with something inside that's not really right, and we say, okay, you know what, I don't feel right, but I need to do something to take this out so I can feel better about myself first. And,
Right.
and that's what you did, because we always got to start with us before we can even think about helping others, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
Because we have to know exactly how it feels, what that other person is going through. And when I say I had a range of emotions that I went through, and I didn't even realize it until I started coaching, that I was actually grieving. I was grieving my hair loss because that was a part of me that was leaving me and I had lost. And I didn't even realize it. So, all those different stages of grief, I definitely went through them when I was going through my hair loss journey. So, that's why I feel like it's so important, because there are women out there who are going through this. They're trying to go, they're going to doctors, or they may not be, but even if they're going to doctors, they may be on a treatment plan, and that treatment plan isn't working, because what works for one person may not work for the other person. And the doctors have to just try to navigate it and give you the medications that have worked, that they've seen work for other people. But again, they don't know if it's going to work for you. And you have to be on those medications for maybe 6 months before you can say, okay, this is not working. We got to make a change. And then you got to start over again and try another procedure, not another procedure, but another plan, as far as trying to get your hair to grow back. That is very taxing on
Yes.
a person, especially when you're paying out of pocket, because a lot of times insurance will not cover these treatments. You're
Mhm.
paying out this money out of pocket. It may work, it may not be working. If it's not working, you are just going through like a whole range of emotions.
And I'm glad you brought that up too. Well, first of all, when I was listening to you earlier about your story, and the first thing popped in my head, and you just said, I was like, "Ooh, we're on the same accord." You said you felt like you were grieving a loss, and I was thinking that when you were talking, I said it's almost like she lost a person, but it was really part of you, which was your hair.
Right.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that, just because like I said, you can lose losses, and not just have to be a person,
Mm-hmm.
and you still have to go through that cycle, like you said, of the grieving process. And thank you for saying that, to give people that basically opening to say, okay, that's okay for me, you know, to do that. It's this, oh, it's just nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Correct. Right. There's nothing wrong with having all of the emotions. However, we can't get stuck. We can't
No.
get stuck there, because when we get stuck, that's when we fall into the depression and, having those just different thoughts that we should not be having, like those suicidal thoughts. I've talked to women who've had those thoughts, those thoughts of nobody will ever love me because I look this way, because of the beauty standard that has been set, in the world, that you have to have this long or this nice thick hair. And when you don't have hair, that's not considered beauty. Well, I, and amongst other women out here who have decided to shave their heads, are changing that narrative. And I am enjoying seeing that movement, because there are so many other women out there who are trying to do the same thing that I'm doing, uplift other women. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yes, and I'm glad you're right. It is changing the narrative out there. A lot of people now, they pick sometime to shave their hair because they like the look, and they like, oh, I'm sport. This is sexy. This is good.
Yes.
This is looking nice. So I always I'm like a cheerleader. I'm always clapping. I'm so happy. I got like I got that smile for you because you are beautiful either way, right? And you
Mhm.
look amazing. And people are just gonna, sometimes people, society, like you said, you got to deal with that. But you know what? It's not about them. It's about you.
Right.
I was just thinking about what you said about people in the norm talking about you got to have a certain hair and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Especially when it comes, I know I had that little issue when I was in a relationship with men because they would always want me to have like, oh, I want your hair this way, and I'm like, well, I don't want it that way, and they're like, well, I'm not gonna, I don't like that. So all of a sudden I had to say to myself, okay, what is Barbara J. Beckley like?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm like, wait a minute. Let's stop the car here. And
Uh-huh.
I had to stop that car. And I'm so glad I did because then my Barbara J. Beckley came out instead of trying to please or, other people. So
Yeah.
I know that's the whole thing too that you got to deal with sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
people deal with.
Definitely, definitely. And this is one thing I tell women who are concerned about whether their partner or spouse will be attracted to them or if they'll be able to attract love again. And I'm like, there's a man out there who loves, there are plenty of men out there. And I'm going to say, amen. There are plenty of men who love women with a bald head or shortcuts. So if that man who you are with or, who you're trying to attract is not attracted to you because of your head, then that's not the man for you. Because ultimately, we all change in life, period. So whether you was super beautiful, when he met you and had a nice body and this and that, as we get older, our bodies change, our hormones change, our hair change, like everything about us, whether you are a woman or a man, you change as you get older. You
Mhm.
want to attract someone and be with someone who's going to love you regardless of the outer exterior, because it's really all about how do you treat them? How do you feel? How do you feel about yourself? Like those internal things are really what's important. Yes, attraction is important. Don't get me wrong. However, if they're not attracted to you without hair, then you need to be with somebody who is going to be attracted to you without hair. You just have to switch it up because now you have a new identity. And that's another thing that women have to understand is when you
Mhm.
do, go this route, you lose your hair or even decide to cut your hair off by choice, that is your new identity. You're going to stand out. People are going to look at you differently. You have to present yourself and hold your head up high with that confidence. That has to be your identity. So there is definitely a shift there that you have to embrace and you have to love.
Yes. You know what, Queen? I would come to you even if it wasn't about hair loss, just helping me just get through feeling good about me. See, that's what I like what you do. Is I know the thing is about because you want to help people because a lot of people need that, especially with hair loss. But I love what you do in your business because it's not only that, but you're talking about a mindset change. You're talking about going through that journey. You're talking about really loving on you. And I'm glad you mentioned that about if a person can't handle it, then they're not that person who will be in your life, period. I mean,
Right.
that's what I say. I was like, no, there's too many other people out there that's going to love you for you, that you're going to be sexy, attractive, all that kind of stuff, inside and out. So
Mhm.
yeah, don't. I always say, don't take yourself a notch down because a person is saying certain things. Yeah.
Exactly. And then also a part of this journey is it's still that self-love. You don't have to have anybody. You have to get to that point also of I'm okay by myself because you have to be in that space so that you don't attract the wrong person. You have to not you don't want to settle. That's what I want to say. You don't want to settle for something that you should not be in just because you want a partner. You have to be comfortable being by yourself until that partner comes along. And that's just kind of it. So that's just, I think that's whether you have hair loss or not,
Yeah.
that's how it should be. You have to love on yourself until you get that right person comes along and treats you just like you treat yourself or even better.
Yes. And that's what I was saying. I said this goes beyond just who help people with hair loss because like you said, you got to love on you, know who you are, where you stand, your confidence, as you put it, Queen, and then everything else will come. Because if you don't have that, you, like you said, you are going to be like dealing with certain things that you shouldn't be dealing with because you're kind of taking yourself down a notch. You should love on yourself. You're too special to do that. I always tell people, you got a powerful gift in you. You're beautiful. Do not let anybody take you to that lower level. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Woo. I'm loving this conversation. Yes, ladies. So I want to ask because this is the Coaches Lounge. I want people, they already know your personality. They already see, I already told people that you're a celebrity and you're awesome. So they can see that through our conversation. I'm talking to the audience right now to make sure that they understand that. But one other thing I wanted you to walk through, like if a person comes to you and this is their, like you said, they just found out, or they went to the doctor, or they're just like, I don't know what to do. How do you approach them and work with them?
So that is normally the first step. If you don't know what's going on with your scalp, I'm going to immediately tell you to go see someone, whether that's going to be a dermatologist, a trichologist, someone who specializes in scalp health, and get testing, figure out what exactly is causing your hair loss. Because once you find that out, then we can take the next steps. Because you may have a certain type of hair loss where it will regrow back if you do a certain things, that you are directed to do. And that would be beautiful. That's a wonderful thing. And that's what I advise women to do is if you see your hair is coming out or is thinning, go as soon as possible to go see someone and find out exactly what's going on. It could be something as simple as hormones. And you may need to just get on, some type of medicine to boost your hormones. It could be stress. You got to reduce stress. Like it could be those types of things where if you just eliminate those problems and kind of change your lifestyle, maybe adopt a healthier lifestyle, you can regain your hair back. For those women who may not be able to get their hair back, okay, that's another journey we have to go down, because now not only we have to get you to understand that, okay, it's not coming back, and we got to accept that and embrace that, because that's hard to swallow, very hard to swallow. Like I said, I was in denial for a very, very long time, and I waited too late in order to even save my hair. So we're going to go down that route of, okay, if it's not going to come back, we have to embrace that and accept that. What do you want to do moving forward? Now, if your doctor is giving you a treatment plan where they're saying, you can get scalp injections or you can get this or that, then we also have to talk about, well, do you want to do that? Because some of that stuff is painful, or sometimes it has side effects and you don't want to have to deal with the side effects. So we look at the whole picture of, what do you truly want for yourself? Do you want to try to get your hair back? If you do, okay, what do we need to do? What is the doctor telling you to do? What is the regimen? Like, how do we follow that? And how do we keep going? If you know your hair is not coming back, how do we deal with that mental part? How do we boost your self-esteem up? Either way it goes, it's going to be a self-esteem booster, because, that's just taxing on you. But what do we want to do? Do we want to wear wigs? Do you want to wear hair wraps? Do you want to cut it off? Like, we have to go down that route, because we have to get to the point of what is going to ultimately give you the confidence and make you happy so that you can continue to live the life that you were put on this earth to live, because we cannot let hair loss stop us. So we start going down that route. So we also, will do, again, that mindset work. So if you have an identity stuck in your head, let's just say you are known for that woman with that long curly hair, and all of a sudden it's no longer there. And that's how people know you. That identity shift will mess you up. So we got to work on that mindset for you to be able to embrace and understand that this is no longer your identity. You're no longer that lady with the long curly hair that everybody knows. You're now this lady. Okay. So how do we move forward with this new identity and not linger on what was, but look forward to what will be and what's to come?
Ooh, well said, Queen. I can't say anything. I'm like the mic drop. I'm like on my end, because you said so much. Oh my God. I love it. I love it. And like you said, I love how you said that, it's a new identity for you, because you have to remember that, because it is a change. I mean, it's interesting when you said, people know you for a certain look or whatever, then all of a sudden now, you don't have it because of what's going on with your hair loss, and you have to switch in your mind first to make sure you're comfortable, you feel love first for yourself, and then people outside, which I always say, Queen, I'm just going to ask this question real quick, because like we always said, we've been talking about, you have to love you first. You got to feel comfortable with you first. Right. And then once you do that, you get out in the world, and then people start, because people are going to start, there's the hater out there, that. We're going to be real here. Like you said, you got to be real. And people are going to say things. Sometimes people don't really, they say something I had to go for this. Sometimes people say something and they mean it. Okay.
Mhm.
Other people might say something, they don't really realize what they said, how they said it. So
Right.
I get that. There's two like little groups of people. With all that said, how would you tell a person, even though they're still working on themselves and they love themselves, how would you tell a person to get through that part?
So yes, and I've definitely been through those scenarios where people said things to me that I'm like, whoa, or the people will stare at you and different things like that. So this is where I think it's about your personality. For me, I am able to block things out. Like I am able to just hold my head up, block things out, and keep it moving. That's in the really the cases where if people are staring, or a lot of times if I do notice somebody, like if I just happen to glance over and I see somebody's looking at me, I'll look at them directly in their eyes and I'll smile. Because if you look at them in their eyes and like look mean or look down, that shows you're insecure. So they already think, because the first thing that people think in their mind when they see a person who does not have hair is that they're sick. So they already have this thing in their mind. But when you look at them and smile, then it kind of shifts their mind, like, oh, well, she's not unhappy, or she doesn't seem like she's sick, or she doesn't seem like something's wrong. She seems confident, like this is what she wants to do. So that kind of shifts that other person's mindset as well. And then in the future, they may think twice when they see the person who is bald and they're looking too hard. That it's not necessarily being sick. It could be something else. Don't be rude. Now, as far as people saying things to you, we cannot control what people say at all. But I can tell you that when I cut my hair off that first time, when it was an emergency and I had to cut it off and I was not ready and I was insecure, I received more negative comments than I did when I cut it off the second time, when I was secure, was ready to do it. And the reason why is because I felt so low about myself. I was projecting that on the outside. I felt comfortable, like, that energy was like, oh, okay, I could say this, or I could ask this question, or whatever, however it came out. But once I came out and I was confident with it, I haven't had anybody saying anything at all. And I cut my hair off for the second time and, embrace this. That was in 2018. I haven't had any negative comments towards me. Negative. I mean, even if, let's just say, so here is one thing, and it really wasn't negative to me, but and that's why I say I haven't had any negative comments. But it was just only one time where this lady thought I took her parking spot. And so when I got out, she was like, this bald head lady took my parking spot. And I was like, thank you. Because I am bald head. It's like when you embrace it, it's like that's not hurting my feelings, because it is what it is. I am bald head. So I didn't take it as a negative thing. I took it as, okay, well, you bad, but I did not, and we're gonna keep it moving.
Yeah. I love it. I love, like you said. I said, well, I am bald headed, so she has a fact there. So that's where we at.
That's what it is.
I love how you just say that. And thank you for giving those tips for everybody, because that's really important. I like the part about, like you said, if a person's staring, just look at them and smile. And then I like the fact that your energy is going to tell it all. Like people always say, when your energy, like if my energy is low and I feel whatever, people can see that and feel it, and they're going to relate back to it because of the energy that you're pushing out, right? So I like how you said, if you still with confidence, you loving yourself, you moving and grooving and stuff, people are not going to, it's not going to be so easy for them to be like, oh, you whatever they want to say, because you are already putting out there like, hey, I'm the bomb.com. I don't get whatever you want to say, but I know I love me and I know I'm beautiful.
Exactly. And especially when you still rocking your style, you still dressing cute, you still got your earrings and your accessories. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I do not. I mean, I don't wear lashes I might wear lashes every blue moon when there's something going on, but normally my basics is a plain face, or if I'm doing something like I got to be on camera, I'm putting on a little bit of foundation and some something on my lashes. And little lipstick. That's it. Like it's bare minimum. So don't feel like you have to wear a ton of makeup and do this and do that. No, everybody adopts their own style. When they decide to embrace whatever it is, like as far as shaving their hair off, then you kind of just feel into what you want to do. Some people wear hats. Some people decorate their scalps and put little tattoos, like tattoos on it. You know, they do all kinds of stuff, put jewels on their scalp. So you just have to adopt what feels good for you.
Yes, because that's your crown.
Yes.
That's your crown. I like, because I see a lot of people that rock, like you said, with the short hair, like you said, ball, and they got the little jewels around there. And I think that is so pretty. I was like, oh my God, I said, that is nice. I never, and see, that's what I'm liking, how, the creativity comes out even more,
Right.
to what you want to look like for you. So yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. Wow, Queen. Oh, see, that's why I love this conversation. I love the queens. But lady, I want to make sure that you just give us a little more time to any lasting thoughts you have for the audience. I'm going to take myself down and I'll be right back.
Yes. Well, for anyone in the audience, if you are a woman who is experiencing hair loss, as I mentioned earlier, the first step is to go to see a professional as soon as possible. Don't let it get too far. Don't let it get to the point to where you actually see your bald spot. If you notice that your hair is thinning in certain spots, immediately go see someone and figure out what is going on with you if you want to save your hair. Now, for those people out there who may be in a situation as I was in, where you will not be able to save your hair. I have scarring alopecia. When you get to a certain point of scarring alopecia and it's progressed too far, you are not going to get your hair back. So if you are one of those women and you need support, just understand that there is support out there. Whether you have scarring alopecia or not, or your hairs can come back or not, there are support groups out there. There are Facebook groups that have women in there that are talking about their hair loss. There are plenty out there on Facebook, so you can definitely go out on Facebook. You can go to support groups for foundations like the Scarring Alopecia Foundation or the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. Those are nonprofit organizations that support the different types of hair loss, and they have support groups that meet on a regular basis. So it's all about you just showing up on a phone call with a group of people who have experienced or are experiencing the same thing that you are going through, and you are talking, sharing information, and you're not alone. You're not the only one experiencing these things, and you are able to ask questions to other people who have experienced what you're going through. So the last thing I want to say is, no matter what is going on with you or your hair or your health or whatever it is, the important part is to be able to be realistic about what's happening with you, try to tackle it, and find a solution if there is a solution to regrow your hair or whatever it may be. If there's not, then you have to go ahead and embrace it, and embrace what look you love, what makes you feel confident. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's all about you being confident and being able to walk out the door with your head up high and living your life to the fullest, living a happy, fulfilled life, and getting out here and doing what God put you on this earth to do. So that is the most important part. Yes, hair loss sucks. I'm not going to say it's an easy situation or easy thing. It definitely sucks. But we have to get to the point to where we are able to hold our heads up high and move forward in life, because we have work to do. So that's what I would give to the audience.
I'm down there just like, yes. Thank you, Queen, so much. Now, I want to make sure, first of all, I want to put this tagline down here again and let people know how they can contact you by your website. Please reach out for this queen through her website. But she has some awesome things that's going on in her life too. So Queen, please let them know other things that's happening as far as your show and other things going on.
Yes. So I have a podcast. So the Bougie Body Podcast, you can find that on YouTube. It's on Apple, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your podcast. You can listen to the Bougie Body Podcast. And on there, I have women who have experienced hair loss. Many of them have decided to shave their hair off just like myself. They're sharing their stories. Many women have created businesses based off of their hair loss journey. So they're sharing information about their businesses and how they support people and other people with hair loss. And then we also have just normal nonprofits or regular companies on who provide services or products that support women with hair loss. Now, the extension of that is the Bougie Body Show, the TV show, which is about to come out. It premieres on December 3rd. So I am excited about that. And the Bougie Baldy Show is an extension of the podcast. And on the show, we actually have businesses, once again, who have been created to support people with hair loss, to give them a voice. They are showcasing their brands and information. We also have a panel. We have a panel of 5 ladies, including myself, where we are sharing our real stories and real experiences of what we encountered and what we endured during our hair loss journey. So we have some really good, interesting topics, from dating, which is what we talked about earlier on this show, to how do you handle your scalp care, because we don't think about that. We've always had hair, so you can't just take a razor to your head and just start shaving. That's not going to work. So how do you maintain your scalp so that it looks healthy and it's always smooth and shiny? So those types of things we have on the show. We have laughs, we have tears, we have real moments. So it's definitely a great show for you guys to check out. So on December 3rd, if you're available, it is a virtual premiere. All you got to do is open up your device, go ahead and click on that Zoom link and join us for the virtual premiere of the Bougie Body Show. You'll get a sample of what the show is about. You'll hear from myself and the guests, and you can get a sample so that you can go out there and take a look at it, the entire season of the Bougie Body Show.
Awesome. Please, people, please make sure that you go to this Queen's show. It's going to be amazing. She's going to have other people, other guests talking about their stories, how to do, how to handle yourself if you're dealing with that. If you know somebody else that might be dealing with it, it doesn't have to be you. See, I always tell people, some people stop at, well, I'm not dealing with that. Well, you know what? You know somebody else that might be. Right. So let's move the needle on that.
And I'm sure everybody knows somebody who's dealing with hair loss, because there are millions of women out here that have hair loss. They may not have told you, but they are having hair loss, and they're just covering it up. You just may not know.
Yeah, definitely. And then thank you for saying that, Queen. So true. Because the people, like, they're dealing with it first time, just like Queen said, they might be ashamed. They might be, they don't have the confidence to come out. They just don't want to say it. They're just hiding, So we got to make sure they unhide themselves, because they're too special, too important to do that. And, I don't want to get on my soapbox, because I will, Queen. I said, I better stop it right here. This is about you, not about me telling people get it together. But with that, let me put your website back down here. See, I know how to switch real quick. Put the website down here and make sure you show love, show support. This is a good awareness too. I need to say that. This is a good awareness, because when I first met this Queen, she gave me an eye opener, because I just want to say, because usually when I see people, and I'm just going to be blunt, I thought that, like she said, it was maybe a sickness or they had cancer, and that's why they, had to do it. And I totally get that. And that's why I like them rocking their, their crown. So I'm with them. But it's not always like that. It's not always like that. And I'm glad that the awareness came out today from you, Queen, because people need to know it's not just that one because somebody's sick. It could be, like I said, most of the time it kind of is, but it could be other reasons. And I'm glad that you put that out there, because like I tell people, when you don't know, when you don't have the knowledge, lack of knowledge is, you kind of lack, it is more of ignorance. I'm just going to be honest with that. Yeah. So make sure you get that knowledge. And that's why you need to come listen to her podcast, see her new show that's coming on, listen to these other wonderful queens that can be talking about it. And, just let somebody else know that, because they have to have the confidence in themselves, because it's about you and it's about loving on you. And this world just needs you. That's, I just want to say, they need you. So with that, Queen, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your movement. I appreciate what you're doing for others. You are just a celebrity. I know you should go. So with that, everybody, as always, see you at the next Coaches Lounge, where we're spotlighting experts, advice for life and in business, to put a spotlight on those coaches, those educators and mentors, people that in your life that are rooting for you because they believe in the gift and the spotlight that you have. They're looking beyond what you're even thinking of because they know that you need to rock this world and be a lighthouse to this world. With that said, we'll see you on the next Coaches Lounge.